Right, so if you've never been here before, what we do here, we do what is called property investments. And at large, we do what is called passive income. So what is passive income? Passive income is money that comes through into your pocket via your bank account. And you invest once and that money comes through, either be it on a yearly basis or on a monthly basis. It doesn't really matter, but it is passive income, right? I do want to stress out that someone else is playing with my screen. Please stop it. Thank you. Right. So I do want to stress out that when I was employed, so these are the companies that I've worked for myself. And on all of these companies, whilst I was there are two things that I didn't know. I didn't know how best do I create what is passive income. I thought that just getting money from my employer was the only means of me getting income, and I didn't know that. The second thing that I didn't know was that I also didn't know that what was my tax bracket. So I didn't know. So I was getting paid and I would hop on from job number one to job number two, all of it trying to increase my tax. And with that, I never really looked at what was my tax bracket until quite recently. I had an aha moment when someone else, I was engaging someone on an investment and I asked them the question, how much do you know your tax bracket? And they said, I don't know. And I looked back at myself and I'm like, hold on. When I was employed, I also didn't know. So I called in Rita and I said, Rita, did you know how much was your tax bracket when you was employed? And she said, no. Anyway, my name is Taurai Jack. I am going to be your host for tonight. And I've got my co-hostess. I normally call her co-host because in our team, we do not even know gender. We don't know race. We are just like-minded people who are out there trying to make a difference in our areas that we do business and creating an impact. Rita, co-hostess, you want to say hello to the people?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I will be the one typing away furiously, trying to answer all your questions. So you are more than welcome to drop your questions in the chat and everywhere else. And I will try my best to get to everybody.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So the questions, I am sure somewhere else you have already figured out where the chat is. Give us some love when you get to see something that you are enjoying, that you are watching, that I am saying. So give us some comments so that we know that you are there. Participate as well. If you don't participate, then we will not be able to get as much value. This is all about you and your investments. We are here to put in the work. You are here to invest. We have sent out an invite and you did, by pitching up here, you have literally said to us, I've got the 100,000 or the 50,000 or whatever it is that I can invest, or potentially you might be sitting on R1 million at home. But as your host, I am going to go in and I will continue on my slides. This is 2018 when I met Robert Kiyosaki. I'd met him in 2016 and 2017 at one of these success resource thingies. And in 2018, I had the privilege of spending around about 10 days with him. And that was me there together with Reza. So basically my wife and my business partner here, we went out and we started learning from him. And a lot of the things that I didn't know when I was employed, he was talking about it. And one of the things that he was talking about is how you can make money utilizing your taxes. And we're like, what does that mean? And we actually thought, you know, this is a concept that can only be applied in America because he's American. But in that book there that he's holding on, which is called Fake, he talks about some of those things. And Rita and I, we kind of like went out and we started actually studying to understand in South Africa, can you achieve this, right? So we didn't know what we didn't know. And we went out, but in particular, he was talking also about what is called the 5Gs. And of these 5Gs, one of it is ground. He was saying that we should be investing in ground. And we were like saying, yay, because we were already investing in ground at the time. What is ground? It is real estate. And we've been investing in real estate for the past 6-7 years. We're still going strong. There is a team behind it. But why invest in ground? Because it always appreciates. it is always going up in price. But what are the other 4 Gs? The other 4 Gs that he speaks to is gold. And the other 3 that I can also say is go and figure it out. Go and read the book also. It is good to read books. It opens up your mind. Anyways, we are M5 Property Addicts. So Rita and I, we started off the business M5 Property Addicts, and we've been going on it strong. And in today's time, we actually had round about just over 250. Rita corrected me the other day. She says, TJ is just above 300, because Rita looks after the money and all the investors as well. So we are just above 250 investors who have benefited from the investments that we have put onto the table. So if you are investing today, you are not the only one. There's been others that have come before you. And some of our investors, they've been with us from the beginning of time, and they are still getting some passive income, all right? And over and above this, we do what is called student accommodation. We have over 300 students that we are particularly managing within the buildings that we own within the 2 cities that we are in, which is in Potchefstroom together with Cape Town, and city number 3 is Durban, right? Okay, and over and above that, we do have over and above 200 families, and they are sitting and calling the buildings that we do have, and these guys are literally calling it home, because we provide accommodation for them in the affordable housing. And behind them, making sure that everyone is paying rent, making sure that everyone else is looked after in all of these buildings, is a workforce of just over 40 people. And over these years that we've been doing, I think particularly we looked at last year and we said, how many jobs, indirect jobs, did we actually touch? So we're talking about people who came in to provide a service, an indirect service, like Wi-Fi, like gardening service, people that are not on our payroll. These plus 40, it's people that are on our payroll. The 100, it's people that would come in and do something into our business. And people that are investing alongside us, they are making this happen. In Africa, we say that if you are to employ 1 person, there is an impact of around about 10 people. So look, my friend, what we are doing here is of national service. What we are doing here is of a greater impact in the 5 cities that we are operating. And we're not stopping. Imagine the 100 people that are on here. If all of you could give 100,000 each. So I don't want to mince my words. Actually, I want to be very transparent to you. By the end of this presentation, I would like you to invest with us. A minimum of 100,000 is what I'm looking from you. And if you can do more, that's great, because we do have a bigger cause and a big job that we need to be going to do out there. Accommodation is one of the biggest problems that we face in our countries. And we have made it our duty to go out and create opportunities for ourselves and for you, so that you can also play in the same space. But hey, we have also won in some awards along the way. So 2019, I became Investor of the Year, and that was in the big category, but obviously that was because of the investors that came in and invested alongside of us. But over and above that, if I'm not doing real estate, I write books. And that's one of my books that I wrote there, which is called From Bad Debt to Property Mogul. I'm gonna ask here, is there anyone who has never read my book and you would like to get my book for free? Just put in a 1 in the comments there if you would like to receive my book for free. Okay, I see a couple of people. Wow, lots of people coming through. Amazing. Okay, great stuff. Okay. Amazing stuff. So you can get my book, Reta. I would like you to give them the link there where they can literally get that book, and you can get that book for free from the website there. Okay, good stuff. Let's move along. Behind every successful man, they normally say that there is a woman. Well, I've got more than one woman. I've got Elize, Silindile, Reta, but it's not just that only. It is actually a team of people that have supported me. and I'm part of that team as well. And over the years, we've been grinding. And the awards that I speak about is obviously on behalf of this team, because alone as an individual, I would have never been able to do it alone. So that is Rita. She looks after the money. She is the CFO, and today she is playing co-hostess. And Hubert, Daniel, Elize, she is also here. She is also playing co-hostess. And recently we got to meet another guy called Joe, and Joe has become our fund manager. What is a fund manager? When you get into a certain level of investments, you now need what is called a fund manager. And the fund manager is the one who makes sure that from a legal perspective, we are doing everything above board, and we're getting all the necessary license, and that's what Joe does. Selindile, she also looks after our crowdfunding. And the one guy whom I'm so privileged to have on our team, God bless his soul. His name is Bevan, and Bevan literally looks after the majority of our employees sit within Bevan, and he is always out there managing all of our properties, irrespective of where they are. He makes it happen. And obviously he's doing it on behalf of you, our current investors, and obviously for the future investors, people who are going to be investing with us. Now, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'd like us to present to you today is some rare opportunities. You might not be seeing this, but it is happening. So you might be seeing some of it, but the reality is that whether you're seeing it or you're not seeing it, it is happening. COVID came in about a couple of months ago, and it has really disrupted the way we live. I myself have had COVID, and if you're a COVID survivor like me, viva, right? That means that we are strong, but we can be stronger together in property investment, right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about COVID coming through. It distracted the economy. The economy right now is gone on a dip, but the reality is that this is not the first time that the economy has gone on a dip. We saw this in 2000, but there was no COVID. We saw it again in 2008, but there was no COVID. Now, what is the difference now? The difference is that at the moment with within this pandemic, when the economy has gone down like this, the property prices go down with it. So we are going to find cheaper properties on the market. How is that possible? You might be asking yourself. Well, it's pretty simple. At the moment, we had quite a lot of people that were employed and they had jobs and things like that. But the reality now is that we have had retrenchments. If you've been following news, I think the last number that I saw was around just above 4 million people that have been retrenched within this period. Now imagine some of those people were tenants. What has happened to that? So it has put pressure on the landlords of those buildings. So in actual fact, it's a ripple effect. We have seen some of the banks that have come out and said, hey, we will give you what is called your holiday payments. But remember, the banks is there to exist and to sell money. So they cannot continue giving out payment holidays. In actual fact, all of the payment holidays, there is no bank right now that's giving a payment holidays. They have started some repossession processes, which means that they have already started knocking on other people's doors and say, bring back my property, I want my money. So in this opportunity, this is a rare window. It is a window that happened in 2000. We did see it. I didn't make money at that time because I didn't know. In 2008, I didn't make money because I didn't know. But I started educating myself and now I know. And over and above that, we've now also created a fund where you can come in and also invest in your money so that together we can go and buy properties, these ones. They are cheap. However, as the market still goes up, as the economy starts picking up, the same prices, or should I say the same properties start also picking up. But that's not the only unfair injustice that is there.
Can I add there? I just want to add something in here as well, which I think is very important. Because of the way the market is changing, there's new opportunities that is happening right now. Think about it. How many people, how many offices, big companies are saying that employees can work from home, whereas we've never had that in the past. So you'll find office blocks empty. Those landlords are desperate to sell. Hotels, people are desperate to sell. Why? Because the tourist industry is down the dumps. The offices, those people are never coming back. They're working from home now. They've given up their leases. And that is where the opportunity is for us. For me in student accommodation, I love to buy office houses that were offices, or a block, a little block, or a big block that used to be offices, and I convert that to student accommodation. It's a great fit, and the process to do that is fairly simple. And so I can pick up very cheap office blocks now because nobody is looking at that or buying or thinking outside of the box, and we can literally do that. Just by thinking a little bit outside of the box, you can turn it into something that is still highly, highly in demand.
100%. So, I mean, for some of the people that also do property investments, and maybe some of them are here coming in to sneak in, Rita has just given you some strategies that you can go and implement. Don't say Uncle TJ and Auntie Rita doesn't share. All right. And on the next thing that we want to talk about is another unfair advantage. This is, guys, these things are happening in our country. If you're not looking, it doesn't mean that they are not happening. If you're not listening, it doesn't mean that they are not happening. The stats are there. So have a look, go out, Google, find out. And when you're not seeing these opportunities, then hang around with people that are seeing them, because then you can win. This is a report that was done. It's not a Taurai report. We didn't cook this up. It's not ours. It's public information. You can literally Google it right now. And it's an integrated food security insecurity analysis report. And basically what they are saying across South Africa as we are right now, we are seeing that because of drought, because of prices, because of COVID, because of unemployment, at the moment, the prediction or what they've been saying is that there's around about 18 million, 18 million who are stressed on where are they going to get food. There's an additional 9 people already in crisis mode, like they don't know where to get food. Not because that whatever reason that they could be, but the food is not just available. If you're going to some of our supermarkets, I like to eat from Woolies. My taste buds has been indulged in Woolies. I like it. And if you look at Woolies, check the packet and see where the food is coming from. It's all, if not most of it, is all imported foods. Well, you should be asking yourself, if there is a crisis like this one, how can you play a part? The other unfair advantage, and when I'm talking about unfair advantages, whenever there's a down, there's an up. So when there's a down, how do you make sure that you can win with that? And that's what it means to be an unfair advantage, because for some people it's unfair, but it can be an advantage for you. Student housing has been a problem. It is a further problem right now. Rita tells me that she was called in at a meeting at the beginning of the year because we do have student accommodation in the Cape. And some of the deans and whoever that looks after student accommodation, they said, we are actually not the university themselves. They are not going to cater for students in the normal way that they normally do because of COVID. So where they normally have like 2 or 3 students in a room, they are going 1 student. So where are the other students going to live? It's a question. So it means that already the current pressures that were there on the student accommodation, with COVID coming in, there's more pressure. I know you might be saying to yourself, TJ, what about learning online? Not everything can be done online, but rather she's going to give us a little bit of feedback on some of our other properties, our existing properties, on how things are going at the moment. What is the backlog that we've got? on people. Some people paid in deposit without even knowing whether they're going to have a place or not. But hold on. So we have made it our duty at M5 Property Assets to create opportunities in business and in property for you to invest in, our fellow everyday people. Because we know that where we were before, we were not able to look at these opportunities because we were focused on our jobs. We were focused on what we're doing. And that is why you see us always having these meetings in the evening like this, because we want you to be investing alongside of us. Because when we was employed, we never used to have these opportunities, but we had the money to be investing. So we want to make it easier for you to come along with us. Now we went out and we actually brought in what is called a Section 12J. So what is a Section 12J? You could be asking, and this is the first time you might be hearing of a Section 12J. Well, don't worry, I'm here to share with you on what it is, and I'm going to explain it in my grandmother's language so that you can understand. I did try this one with my grandmother, she figured it out, so I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out as well. So we all know that there's a national treasure. So the national treasure is what looks after the money of the country, and basically the national treasure said, there's lots of money that is moving out of the country. How best can we keep money into the country? And they went out, they spoke to SARS, and together with what it used to be previously called as the Financial Service Board, and it is now called the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, that's the new name. And who is the FSCA? It is the board that issues licenses of bank. It is the board that issues out license for investments banking, right? So the three then came up with this vehicle. So it's a company, it's a special company that is recognized by SARS. And what happens? They have said, for people to leave with their money out of the country, it means that there is no opportunities in the country where they can have higher yields. So let's create these companies. And we are not the only Section 12J. There's plenty of Section 12Js out there. But we are a unique Section 12J because there's a number of things that we do that many a Section 12J don't do. So with that in mind, people that would traditionally take their money out of the country, people that would traditionally not invest, SARS together with the FSB, together with the National Treasury, they then said the investors, people that have money, they can go into companies that are called Section 12J. So companies need to go and register with the FSCA to get a license to become a bank. They can also go and register with SARS. And out of that, you can then have the tax incentive. Remember, we went to see Robert Kiyosaki and we were trained for 10 days. We didn't have the solution, but this time around we went to find it. And we thought, this can help as many people that we know. But when this was made, should I say the Section 12J, it was really meant for the rich people. And when they first went out, and they said, people that can invest 1 million and above. Can I get as one in the comments? Anyone who's got $1 million? Anyone who's got $1 million sitting at home, let me just get a 1, right? Anyone who's got a 1 million? Nobody, right? Nobody's got $1 million. So none of us, we've got about just over 100 people, none of us, boom, someone else says they've got a 1 million rand. So one person out of 100 people that are on this call, plus a number of people that are on Facebook that I'm not seeing right now. Now, all of you would have then missed out the opportunity to be making money with your SARS money. So what do I mean by that? SARS is giving you some tax incentives if you are to invest into a Section 12J. And I'm going to explain a little bit later into that. So out of all the people that we already have now, only one person would have invested because they understand that, right? But we went ahead with GrowVest. So GrowVest is the company that administers Section 12J. So it's the big brother. Just like you have big brothers for many things, right? If we do wrong, you go to GrowVest. And if GrowVest does wrong, you go to the National Treasury, and that's what Big Brother is all about. So with that, what literally happened was that, so the money would come through from investor, registered companies that are in the section 12J, you then go and invest into that. And that's how you're going to reap the benefits of claiming back your SARS money. And how much can you claim back? I'll be talking to that a little bit later as I go through into the presentation. I was at the highest tax bracket when I was employed. Had this opportunity, I was going to say, hey, had this opportunity been available, actually it was available, but I just didn't know about it. And I'm glad that I'm here sharing this actually with you today. So having said that, we are actually now an investment company. So we are a fund. So we call the M5 Property Investment Fund. And our license, authorized financial license, provider license is 7737. And we've got what is called a VCC number, which is 0045. So that's each bank comes through with this license. Each fund comes through with this license. That's why it's got different numbers, like an ID, right? And that's how the companies now get identified and all of those things. So now that we have this fund, then what, right? That's the question. It's a fund, it can be a company in the fund, but if it doesn't have any investments, it can't work. So that's why we are having these presentations with you today, so that you can invest in this fund so that we can go to work. But hold on, we got this fund and then Bratito said, we're no longer going ahead with the section 12J. So he made an announcement, and some of you already, I know that you were at the back of your head, you were saying, but TJ, hold on, didn't the Minister of Finance say that this is not going ahead? Well, he did say that, but what does that mean? It does mean that the legislation is still applicable all the way until June. So if you are to invest today, all the way up until June, it does mean that the current benefits that are there, you are still going to benefit from them. However, after June, it falls away because the announcement was already done within the fiscal year, which was this June here when he made the announcement. So there is a small window where you can invest, literally between now and June. And that's when you can get your big tax incentive that we're going to be talking about. If you don't do that, well, I can help you, my friend. I'm going to help those that are going to be going out with us on this train. The reality is that the train is going to go, and it will go with those that are ready. And if you are ready tonight, me and you, we are going to go places within this fund. There is a unique opportunity. What is that unique opportunity? There is no way in your time and in my time where we have had to be able to combine the unfair advantages that are coming through with COVID. And it is a window. And why do I call it a window, my friends? It's because COVID is going to be resolved at some point in time, and that window is going to shut down. It is a reality that the problem that we are faced with within the student accommodation, it's not going to be a problem that exists for years. So it's a window that we need to be jumping on and capitalize. The food crisis that we are having, yes, it's seasonal. So some years we've had it and some years we've had abundance. But again, within this window, we need to seize it. If you don't seize it, someone else is going to. If we don't do it, someone else is going to do it. And potentially, if no one does it, then all of us are in a crisis. But we have an opportunity here, a very unique opportunity where you and I can do it. But hold on, we can actually do it also alongside the government. We can partner up with the government on this section 12J, where you can invest in the section 12J and the government can give us a little bit of benefits within the SARS. At the moment, you could be asking yourself, so TJ, who should be investing here? It is you. However, it is you if you understand that you are investing alongside others. A fund, you don't invest on your own. It's not about your property. It's about properties that you are investing with others. So it's about clubbing together but with one fund and one fund manager who reports back to the financial board. And over and above that, it is for people who understand what money can do for them. When I was employed, I didn't know what money can do for me. I knew what time can do for me. So I went to work. But my friend, you can be going to work, you can be doing your business, and your money could be working for you on the side as well, which basically means that your money is making babies, as Rita says it. So on the other hand, if you understand the advantages that brings in the tax incentives, then we want to partner up with you. I'm hoping that this is making sense to you. And if this is talking to you, and I know it's going to talk to you because you are still here, then I'm going to say to you, do you understand the flow of money, how money works? At the moment, you are sitting with money. You're potentially sitting it maybe in a savings account, in a deposit account, wherever it is in one of the other banks. I am not going to name any of them, but you do know where it is. The question that I want to ask of you is, how much interest are you getting there? It is your trusted banks because you've been banking with them for a long time. Potentially they give you a black card. Potentially they give you nice rates. Really? But anyways, these are your trusted banks, so I'm going to leave it there. But the reality is that you are seen as an investor with the bank. They have created all sorts of products for us to save money, for us to put money in the banking system. And then thereafter, do you know what they do? Well, people like me at M5 Property Addicts, we go to the same banks and we ask for them for commercial loans that we can go and do student accommodations, and over and above that, home loans and all sorts of credit. So in actual fact, my friend, you are funding us indirectly anyways. So the money is coming from you, it goes through via the bank, and that's what I call the middleman, and then it comes through to us with obviously all the applications that we do. But hold on, what if you were to get rid of the middleman and invest directly with experienced investors like us? Well, the question that I want to ask of you is that at the moment, do you even know where your bank is investing your money? Do you even know who is managing your money? Well, I don't want to be a little bit critical here and to be pushing the boundaries of your thoughts. But I'm just saying, your trusted bank, is it really a trusted? And have they actually ever said to you, this is the property that we have invested in? This is the town that we are investing in. They haven't, isn't it? Well, at M5 Property Addicts, we do things differently. We're a different investment company. You invest with us, you see where we are investing. You can come, you can touch, you can feel, you can kiss that property, and you can go, you can do selfies with it, because we want to be transparent with you on how we are utilizing your money. And this is how the M5 Property Fund has been given birth. Well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a video of someone who's been investing with us for slightly a little bit longer time. And this is what he says. This guy here, he's a doctor. His profession is a very busy profession, but this is what he had to say. So Hesho, you've been investing with us.
Yeah.
What made you take the leap of faith to invest with us?
So TJ, I think for me it was the fact that I've been following you for some time. We've came through the same education system, proper investment, and I've seen what you've done. And I think for me it was sort of an easy decision, you know, to invest with you and to build a partnership with you and to create a legacy for ourselves and our family and creating accommodation for people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tumimo.
Right.
Thank you. That is someone else who's real, someone else. We actually took that video. Maybe for some of you, you already know where that property is. It's one of our properties where People like you have come in, we've clapped together, we've bought that property together. If you ever come through to our office, our head office is actually in that building there, right? So you are able to actually see. So what do we invest in, right? And that's a question. Well, we invest in, number one, we invest in property. That is the first thing. And I just want to take you guys on a short journey of where it all started, because we might be talking about property and then you see the negatives, or some of you might already have properties and you are paying in the bank to have those properties, and you are thinking it's an investment, and you're thinking, if I put in my money here, I'm going to be paying the banks. No, we don't do that. We make money from day one on our properties. This is a small property that I'm going to show you with small numbers so that all of us can comprehend. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath that we bought not so long ago. And we bought it for 160,000 Rand, okay? And out of this property, it was on the market for around about 390,000. And we had some renovation costs. You can see it was a smelly property. And this is real footage, pictures of when we bought this property. And we bought it for 50,000. And out of that, we were all in for 210. But hold on, we actually had an income of 5,000. So we put a tenant on the property and we were getting 5,000. If we had to make an assumption, which was actually factual, on this particular property, we had rates and taxes and levies of up to 1,000 Rand. So if you look at it, it's making profit of 4,000 Rand. Hold on. What if we are to get a bond on the same property? What if we were to get a bond, a bank loan on the same amount of 210? What would be our repayment? Well, the repayment would be around about 2,100, isn't it? So if you combine 2,100 plus the 1,000 for your expenses, you're only in for 3,100, isn't it? If you subtract that from 5,000, are you still making some profit? And this is how our fund makes use of your money that comes into the fund so that we can give you some returns. It's a small property that we're talking about. We don't buy properties like these ones anymore because it just doesn't make sense. So one of you can just invest 100,000. So does it mean that we go and buy one pair of property like this one? No, we don't. Now we buy the entire building, right? It just makes financial sense. In some cases, we can buy a whole building on a discount of this much that we are talking about. What else do we do? So that was no more tenanting. What else do? We do what is called student accommodation. This is, if you're ever going to go to Cape Town on one of our offices, anyone from Cape Town, let me just see a C there, right? Just type in C, just type in C there. If you do have a property in, if you are from Cape Town, just type in C in the comments. Just say, type in C, I'm from Cape Town, good. I see a couple of people from Cape Town, awesome stuff. So if you're to ever go through to Cape Town into our offices, at this particular property, at the back of our offices, we actually have student accommodation. And what it basically means for those particular properties that we bought, it's 2 properties that are next to each other. So the one we bought it for 1.5. So that means that a minimum of say 10 of you come through, you invest in the fund, and boom, we already got a property like this one. And then the other one we bought for 1.5, right? However, in this area, properties generally sell for 2 million each. Yeah. So we bought the properties at a heavy discount, right? And over and above that, we went on, we renovated the properties, and then we cleaned them up. After cleaning them up, what did we do? We bought furniture, we got it student ready, and we've got around about 43 students staying in this property. Okay? Per bed, we're collecting 3,000 Rand. And if you have to calculate 3,000 times 43, you will see how much money we are collecting. Now, you could be asking yourself, so TJ, 127 a month, maybe you can't comprehend it. Well, that's why I started with a small property, so that we can understand that as you grow older, all you're doing is adding a zero to the problems and making sure that your team can also support that. And that's what we've been doing over the years. So on a property like this one, this is one property of the many properties that we have for student accommodation. And people like you can come through and you can invest alongside us on these properties. These returns that you're seeing here will be coming through to you with no work involved, with nothing else that you need to do. Is there anyone else who has invested with me before in another fund? Just type in an I if you've invested with us before in any of the other funds, right? Just type in an I if you've ever invested with us before, right? Type in an I to say, I have invested with you, TJ. There's someone else, there's someone else. So we've got two people, three people that have invested with us before. These are the people part of the 250 that I was talking about, where they have enjoyed profits coming through from investments like these ones. All right. Now, going ahead, I did mention that we're buying bigger buildings because we can afford to do that, because you can partner up with us. So it doesn't make sense for us to be going to buy a unit. It doesn't make sense. We are a fund. And I am here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you that once you put in your money into the fund, this is where it is going, to properties like these ones. And my team and I, we will then make sure that you get the returns that you're looking for. That was number one investment. Well, two investments in particular. So the one is affordable accommodation. The second one is student accommodation. But again, all underlined with property. The third one is what we call aquaponics. What is aquaponics? Some of you were at the, we had the conference recently. If you missed it, I am very sorry that we were not able to market to you. I'm going to talk to our marketing team to see why didn't they get to you and why, that's unacceptable. But nonetheless, what is aquaponics? Aquaponics is the farming of fish. And when the fish poos, that water is full of nitrogen. Yes, I did say poo. So fish poos is high in nitrogen. So when it poos, it goes through and it goes into water, but plants generally get healthier, they grow bigger because of nitrogen. So out of that, we have these vegetables that are growing on water. There is no soil here. So this is water that we are planting all of these plants, and all of them, they get to grow at the back of the water that has poop. That's what aquaponics is all about. And out of this, we take this to the groceries, we take this to the restaurants, we take this to people that are wanting vegetables, and over and above that, they pay us and we come through, we pay you. All right, so that's the third thing that we invest in. So the question is, how do you get involved? That's the question, how do you get involved? Simply said, you can invest alongside of us for a year. You're like, TJ, I don't know you, I like what you're talking about. But, well, no strings attached. You can invest with us for 1 year, and out of this 1 year, you will earn what is called 14% passive income. At a minimum of your 100,000 you invest with us, what is basically going to happen is you get 14,000 Rand per year, 14,000. But it gets distributed to you on a monthly basis, and that will be 1,166. And what happens to your capital? Well, at the end of the year, you will get your capital back. It's a pure investment. That's what it is. You don't own anything and things like that. Okay. The second one on how you can get involved is a 3-year trust investment fund. This is for people that understand that they want to go on a longer journey. They want to invest with us on a longer journey. And basically, you can invest again on a minimum 100,000, and the money goes through and sits with the Elize. She is here. And out of that, that money sits in that pot. And at the back of that, M5 Property Addicts and my team, we start going out and we start looking out for opportunities. This particular fund, we've already bought 2 properties. And at the back of that, when we buy properties cash, what we do, we later on go and refinance them. We take a bond on it, take out the cash, we buy another property again, and that cycle continues like that. So you see the trust fund is going to grow and grow, and potentially you might have just invested once. Now, what are some of the other properties? These are the 2 properties that we have bought, literally. In the buildings where we do have our office, that's one of the buildings. The other one is a building that is out in Cape Town, and Rita is going to speak to it just now. But we have a targeted returns. What do I mean by targeted returns? Each project is different. Because we are in the trust, we're creating ownership for everyone, right? So we have a targeted return to say we are not going to look for anything less than 14%. The question that I want to ask of you is, how much is your money earning wherever it's sitting right now? Well, anyway, it might be a sore point for you tonight, but it's okay. On the other hand, if we are to look at it, these properties that we're getting, we might be getting even more. We might be getting slightly less, but we are targeting a 14% because that's the reward that we would like to pass to our investors who are like-minded like us. This is a real property that we went out and we bought. I did mention it, and we bought this property here for 11 million. Some of my investors are here already that put in some money in this particular building, and we got a 17% return on it. And those people are going to be getting some of their first produce, or should I say first returns. In May, is it in May, Rita? May, June? When are we distributing?
It'll be in June.
In June, right? So the meeting is there in May, and everyone else is going to know how much money is available for distribution. And the distribution will be 30 days after that, which is in June. And these are the first produce that's been coming through from this particular property. And over and above that, another property that we also bought. So we gathered some money in the trust. There was around about 5 million in that trust. We went to buy this property cash, 3 million rand. There is a gross profit of 100,000 net profit, gross profit of 100,000 that's coming through. And obviously, if you take out expenses and things like that, we've got some returns of 20% on that. This property here, Rita, you want to jump in here on this property here? How many beds is it, by the way?
So with the COVID situation and so on, we decided not to do quads and triples and things. So we actually have 28 beds, 28 students in this property right now. But it is, it's a very, it's quite a big property. And we bought this for round about 3 million. Well, the purchase price was less, but that's including some other things like your transfer fees and so on. And then we only had to put furniture in, and we were able to we put an offer in November, and the property transferred on the 27th of January. On the 15th, I think it was, February, we had our first student moving in, and shortly after that, about 2-3 weeks after that, we were full, basically. And the nice part about it is that it is in an area where we've done student accommodation last year. We know the area, we know the university, we have the relationships there. We've got a awesome house father actually, that was already on the property, that knows the property, that's looking after the students, making sure that they follow the rules, they're not annoying neighbors, they are keeping the property in a proper condition. He does little bits of maintenance all the time as things come up, so I don't have a huge maintenance bill at the end of the year. And that is generally how we run it. And the average rental on this property is 3,400 per month per person, which gets you to just round about below 100,000 rands a month. So obviously we have to, unfortunately, wait for that money because a lot of these students are NSFAS students. So the university will start paying out in around about July. We should start seeing those, the first semester's money coming through, which is going to be a nice big payout for us as soon as that money has come in.
Good stuff. So Rita, thanks for highlighting that, because I think, and this is why we actually don't want people to come in and just, if they don't know us, you jump in into the trust. We don't want you to invest there, because when there is no income that's coming through, other people start panicking. Where's my money? What's going to happen? And things like that. And so and that's why we also don't want to invest with people that don't understand property. So I'm trusting that all of you guys who have come through, yes, you have an appetite to invest in property, but you also understand it. And people that invest with us, you don't just come in to invest with us. You know, we very operate differently from Coronation, from ABSA, where you just come in and throw your money. We don't do that. We give you an application form, and we vet you to see whether we can be able to work with you. And our board is very serious around that. So Rita, thanks a lot for this description here. This is a real life property in Cape Town. In this hub, we potentially have around about 100 students that we are going to be managing in not so far much distant future. We are very close now. And we are growing in that space. We're already now starting to some of our neighbors because it's a very good area. And that's why I'm saying that we want your money to invest in properties like these ones. So let's talk about the Section 12J. So I've spoken about the 1-year investment. I've spoken about the 3-year investment. What is the 5-year investment? Well, it's the Section 12J. But why is it a 5-year investment? Because SARS stipulates that you should invest for 5 years and beyond, right? So at 5 years, you can withdraw your money, but you can't stay with the fund for more than 5 years. And this is our only fund that dictates that. Now, what happens? Well, when you invest, so you are right here, when you invest your money, what's going to happen is that, yes, you invest, there you are going to invest in M5 property addicts. How do you get your security to make sure that you got your money? Well, you're going to get what is called a share certificate and a tax certificate. Why do you need the tax certificate? For you to go and claim your tax money from SARS. And then you get what is called a 100% tax deduction. Ooh, some people are thinking 100%. Is it all my money back? No, 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 no. It is 100% of your tax bracket. And for some of you are probably like me, you're like thinking now, so what's my tax bracket? Don't worry, I'm gonna show you what's your tax bracket now, okay? Just remember how much you get paid, right? Per year, your cost to company, okay? Then I'll show you just now. So what it basically means now is, so that's what you get, that's your share. And over and above that, you can get up to 45% tax that you get. We are administered by Grovest, and obviously on top of that, you now also have your investment growth that's going to go in. And over and above that, you will get what is called your profits or dividends that you're going to be paid. For us, it is on yearly basis, but I'll speak to it now. So just in case you have no idea how much is your tax bracket, like I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you. So on this here, this is a picture that I literally took from SARS website. And we can, we're going to give you a link where you can go to SARS and you can see for yourself how much is your tax bracket, okay? And with this, you can see that a lot of people that already earn over and above 500,000 a year, they are in the plus 36% already, okay? So you see the number one here is from 1 rand to 216, from 216 to 300. Now, I just want you to have a look here. And the question that I'm going to ask of you is, in the comments there, just type in the number where you think, right, your tax bracket is. So if you're a 3, you're a 3. If you're a 6, you're a 6. If you're a 1, you're a 1, okay? Just type in the number there. I just want us to make sure that we all understand this and that we can be able to reap the benefits. I am of the view that a lot of people sit here. That's my view, right? That's my view, a lot of people. But my view, I also went on to online and I checked where's the population of people that are employed, and they all sit in here. I'm just gonna jump on into the comments here, right? I'm seeing a lot of 6s, right? A lot of 4s, right? Okay, good stuff. So let me speak to that in my example, right? I'm gonna speak to the 4s all the way to the 6s on my example. So now that means that we are looking at people that are being taxed 36% of your money. So a third of your money is going to SARS. If I say to you, I can give you back that 36% when you do invest with us on the investment that you're going to make, does that get you excited? Yes, no? Yes, no? Did you hear what I said? If I'm to give you the 30% on the capital that you have invested with us, if I can get you that money back, does that get you excited? Right? I'm just checking in the comments here. I hear yes, yes, yes. Okay, good stuff. That is what the Section 12J is all about. That is what the Section 12J is all about. So the Section 12J does say that if you invest in a 12J, you're investing, let's say, a minimum 100,000, okay? For those of you who are earning 45, that have a tax bracket of 45%, so we saw that a lot of people are here. It basically means that this is your tax bracket here. So how much are you going to get? SARS is going to give you the same. So SARS is going to match you. So 100,000, you get 30,000 back. You get 45,000 back, okay? Us as the fund, us as M5 Property Addicts, for the period that you are investing with us for the next 5 years, we will then give you 7.5 all the way for the 5 years. But it is 7.5 based on the current rental for this year. If the rent increases, already 2022 changes, 2023 changes, and it goes up like that, right? So it's based on our current incomes, but hold on. So it basically means for the period of 5 years, if you are sitting at 30%, which is the bottom of the many people that responded, you are sitting at the growth of 68% on your money. So that means on a year-on-year, at average, your money is growing on 14% if we don't have any increment between now and then. But we all know that increments of rental normally goes up by how much? 5 to 10%. 5 to 10%.
And
So
in our universities here in Cape Town, the average that it went up from 2020 to this year was 6.7%.
boom.
Increase.
You see, and that's a factual one between last year's and this one year. So what is the next step? The next step is that you need to fill in the application form. If you want to go ahead with you, the train is about to go and the train won't wait for nobody. If you're not ready, you're not ready. I can't help you. Time is ticking. Tito Mboweni did say that this thing needs to close in June. I can't do anything around that. We brought in Jeff Miller. He is the administrator. They manage 3 billion rand, 3 billion rand. And he said they had some conversations with the ministers and with SARS. They said it's not going to happen. So what can you do? What can you do between now and June? But obviously, here's the thing. Our fund can only take so much money. So it's a first come, first serve. Because all funds, you can't take like infinity money. Like you can't take, just lots of money. You have a cap. Each fund has a cap. So if we reach our cap and your money is not here, sorry, my friend. So here you are. By this coming Friday, I'll leave this until Friday. Fill in the application form. There is a link in the application form. Copy and paste that and then take it into another screen. And out of that, make your application. Those that are approved, actually everybody, we will call you back and we'll tell you, no, you didn't get approved for A, B, C, D. Those that have been approved will tell you, yay, good. We'll send you the contracts thereafter. From sending you the contracts, you can choose between option number 1, which is investment for 1 year, option number 2, investment for 3 years, option number 3, which is investment for plus 5 years, okay? And with all of that, the 5-year one, that's the one that's got a tax incentive. 3 and 1, they don't have tax incentives, okay? 1 year and 3 years, they don't have tax incentives. 5-year one, it does have a tax incentive in it. And over and above that, you pay your contributions, you get your certificates and your contracts, boom, we start working. And this is how you can earn what is called passive income. Well, it doesn't end there, my friends. I want to stipulate to you categorically that at the moment, if all of us are to give in 100,000, that's how much Reta, we've got 100 people here, so that's 10 million, right? 100 people here on 100,000 contribution, it is 10 million, right? Yeah, I'm right on my maths for the first time. Okay, good. So if you're all to contribute a minimum of 100,000, by the way, on the section 12J, you can invest from a minimum of 50,000. We went through and we pushed back and we said some of our people, they can contribute 50,000, and where it was at 1 million, they dropped it down to 50 million, and you can invest 50,000 and above. But this is one deal, a portfolio of properties that we can buy for 10 million. This is in Potchefstroom, we've got it under contract. And if this 10 million was available, boom, we would go and buy this property. So you can come in and you can invest alongside of us. We do have 2 sites that we have of property where, of stands where we need 5 million rand. The stands are already available. The designs are there. We are just waiting on your money to start building these structures so that we can create aquaponics. These here are between Pretoria and Pretoria, but different Pretorias. One is like Pretoria North and Pretoria. What's Silver Lakes? Okay, the other Pretoria and Silver Lakes, right? So if we are to take those 2 farms and we do aquaponics, it basically means that if you are staying in those areas or if you are staying in and around Johannesburg, I guarantee you, I promise you, we are going to have a show and tell on our second month when these are there, because you will be able to see exactly this, because latest it takes us about a month for it to go through to this, to a phase like this one. And we can have a show and tell. Show and tell is basically where all of our investors who have invested in a particular project, you come in, you see, you like, you take selfies, and you can understand what we are doing over and above doing selfies. Well, the question now that I want to ask of you, my friend, is, are you going to make a decision? And the decision really is, are you going to keep your money where it is? I checked on the website of how can we help you, and how can we help you? They said for a fixed month, fixed deposit on 12 months, they are giving you 8%. Then I checked the other black bank, bank that doesn't have a branch, and they say they'll give you up to 7%. Okay. Well, we are saying for 1 year, we will give you 14%. In the trust, it's really infinity. Why are we saying infinity? Because when you buy a property whilst you're in the trust, okay, you're going to get that property, but after a while, we're going to refinance it. So on this particular property, you don't have any of your own money, but your money is now on the second property, and that's how we're going to continue. So that it's called infinity returns. You know, you can't calculate that, right? It's not your money that's working in there, right? So that's what it is. On the section 12J, we are looking at up to 17% on the highest tax bracket. So I'm sure you did have a look on your tax bracket and see where you fall in. For some people it's 16, for some people it's 15, 15.5, but it is what it is. So I had a look. So before I go, I had a look on the inflation rate for South Africa. And this is public information. This is Stats SA. You can have a look on the internet. It's there. They're showing us. And they say that the inflation on this past March is sitting at 3.2. So how can we help you? They give you 8%, but we all know that there's bank charges. So how much is left that's going to come in your back pocket? So number one, they give you 8%, minus 3%. So now you're down to what? To 5%, okay? But now bank charges, how much are you going to get down to? So the question, my friend, that I want to leave you with is, why wouldn't you want to invest with people that you know? Why wouldn't you want to bypass the middleman? It's like buying China things and you're going past a whole lot of wholesalers in between, when you can literally buy anything that you want to buy for the cost. So why not invest so that you can get the highest return that you can get on your money? Why don't you want the money to work for you? Well, I'm trusting that I have given each and every one of you information that equips you to make a decision on where you are going to be putting your money in. Year number one, 3 years, or 5 years. And if I haven't given you enough information for you to make a decision, then I want you to fill in the application form, then we can have that personal discussion, because it's your money. It's a decision that you can make alone. Well, my friends, I am going to be going now. I need to dash into another meeting just before I go, but I am going to leave you with someone else, a couple of people actually who've been investing with us, and they were at our show and tell. And basically, this are some of the things that they had to say. But basically, I am going to leave you now, and I'm trusting that when you those that are going to invest with us. So there's a good friend of mine called Lebo, and this friend of mine, he's literally managed to get just about R250 million. And I asked the question, how did you figure this out, man? And with him and Jeff managing 3 billion, I'm like, if I get to hang out with Jeff and we get to bring in Lebo, and we can understand how best can we move in closer to $1 billion. And for those of you that are going to be investing alongside us, these are the people that we're going to be meeting. These are the people that we're going to be having conversations of. How can we make our money work harder for us? We are making it work at this moment, but with other people who are managing bigger monies than us, we can do great things. So I'll be seeing you. Thank you very much for attending with us. I'm hoping that I have opened up your mind in terms of where you can put your money. We will be seeing you or talking to you after those application forms have been vetted. But remember, this might not be for you, and that's okay. But again, the train is going. We will see you later.
Takura, you've been in my circle for a while, and you've now investing with us. And what gave you the leap of faith to invest with us?
Basically, I saw the work that you guys do. I really have faith in it. I'm here to make money. I think you are a proven and tried and tested method. I watch all your YouTube videos, some very insightful content, and I really believe in the journey that you're on right now. And I like your strategy. Hence I invested.
Cool. Too many more.
Sure.
You've been investing with us for a while.
Yeah.
And the first time round, I think it's about 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay. And the first time round when you invested with us, what gave you the leap of faith of investing with us?
I think I had just gotten tired of looking and postponing, and because I just didn't have the time to find properties myself, when I came across you guys, I thought, I'm making more money with you than trying to manage a tenant and getting like a fraction of what I was getting with you, so it made sense.
And how do you enjoy that money that comes through?
Yes, on the 10th, yes.
Right.
Every morning on the 10th, my WhatsApp is there and it's already in my bank account. So I think it's also very comforting that it's never late. So you know you can trust the people that are behind the money.
Awesome stuff. So Dimitri, you've been investing with us now for what? 2 to 3 years?
2 years, 18 months about.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first time round when you started investing with us, what gave you the leap of faith to invest with us?
It's just a trust and relationship. You either have it from the, for me personally, it was just that connection from the first time we met. So for me, it was the trust, the relationship, and just seeing what happens, what you guys are, what you're sort of motivated and driving towards, to get property investments and to add value and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that was my take on it. It's, and I'm always connect with people from, so automatically for me that, just made sense. And the relationship, I mean, we connected from the first time. So,
yeah.
So for me, I think it's, you got to connect with someone first and foremost, because if the connection's not there, it's no matter what they do.
Sure.
And then that naturally followed, what you guys are doing. So
100%.
Yeah.
And you've been enjoying your process?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's no two words about it. It comes when it comes, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
There's communication.
Yeah.
During COVID, there was communication, what you guys were going through. So I think that's all you really want.
Cool.
That's all you really want.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thanks for investing with us.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for the opportunity.
Sure. What gave you the leap of faith to invest with us?
Firstly, your team. When I looked at your team, because I started knowing you guys earlier this year, around I think it was just before lockdown.
Sure.
Now, when I looked at your team, each of the members, like in your team, they are quite credible. Besides you yourself, of course, being the SA Investor of the Year last year.
Sure.
Because the SEPIN team, anything that they credit must be trustworthy, because the SEPIN team themselves are quite a credible team.
Awesome.
Yes, brother.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Okay, so Hesho, you've been investing with us.
Yeah.
What made you take the leap of faith to invest with us?
So TJ, I think for me it was the fact that I've been following you for some time. We've came through the same education system, proper investment, and I've seen what you've done, and I think for me it was sort of an easy decision, to invest with you and to build a partnership with you and to create a legacy for ourselves and our family and creating accommodation for people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Too many more.
Like,
Thank
cool.
you.